This is Robert Vaughn. You're listening to the Paunch Stevenson Show.
Sitting here at the table, Mr. Robert Vaughn, Dr. Robert Vaughn. This is me. All right, who wants to start the question? Anybody have anything specific that they want to ask?
How was your experience in London with the 12 Angry Men?
Absolutely wonderful.
We've been following it on Facebook.
I've never worked in London theatre, and the British audiences are much more effusive. You think it was the other way around. They were more medicine, but they're not. They would stand up. They sometimes would stand up at the end of the first act and say bravo. They would carry on and take the seats, and it was wonderful. It was almost psychopathic in their response. In a very positive way. So it was a good end. The actors are all, needless to say, wonderful, but they're also terribly funny. I know that I get a lot of laughs every day before the show started every night. It was a very fun show.
Anybody else have something they'd like to ask?
Well, it's been nice. Glad you've come by.
In comparison between doing the play, it's all the other actors you worked with in 12 Angry Men, they were all British actors?
There were two Americans.
Two Americans?
Like myself, yeah.
Okay, what would you compare the camaraderie of that as opposed to Hustle, when you were getting to know the world?
Well, we worked together for 8 years, we were only together for 9 months.
Okay.
We got to know each other very well, got to know each other's families, and had a lot of laughs once again. It was very funny.
So each time you did Hustle, it was kind of like a reunion, get back together with the crew.
I still am in contact with all the people on Hustle for the 8 years that we were in London.
That's very interesting.
Anybody else? Yeah.
As an actor, what would you say the differences are between American television and British television?
Well, the British television seems to have stories going on all day, every day on every channel, as opposed to America, which has news shows predominantly all day, every day, and game shows. They have actual stories every day, starting early in the morning. My wife occupied herself all the time we were there, following the storylines of a dozen different shows. That's it.
Anybody else? I know we have a lot of people here that are from the United States. Do we have any people from out of the United States?
Montreal, Canada.
Okay.
Well, I'm technically living here now, so but I was born and raised in Mexico City, and my dad and I, and well, mostly all my family were huge fans of El Agente de Cipoll.
In regards to the production of the TV show, what's the biggest difference between working on a show in England as opposed to working here?
I don't think there's any great difference at all. The television show that I did, Hustle, was produced in the same way, very organized. They all speak English to each other, American to each other. I don't know if there's any great difference at all.
Is it more like a rushed schedule, or do they take more of the
No,
time?
it's actually more rushed in America. Well, we did the Master and Uncle, we don't have 6 days shoot for an hour show. I think you now shoot for 7 to 8 or 9 days. That much. As a matter of fact, our director of photography, Fred Cohenkamp, went on to win a number of Oscars for various motion pictures. Spent at least one or 2 days in the hospital, and particularly he was so overwhelmed with the speed of having to do an hour show in 6 days.
I finished my PhD dissertation and it got published. So I wanted to give you a copy. I don't know if you remember, I was a doctor, remember?
Yes.
You helped me out so much. So you gave me your PhD. You signed Only Victims, so I wanted to bring you a copy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're in the acknowledgement, obviously.
There's a whole book about the Master and Uncle?
Yeah, remember you used to get on the phone to me all the time and tell me stuff.
I talk about Uncle Fairmont.
He called me once from Florida telling me about. No, but I did show them an episode.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, it's more of a comment that we were all very sad about the news of Eli Wallach passing away this past week. I know you worked with him in the Magnificent Seven, and I just recently, I think this week, they aired a brand new documentary on Steve McQueen. And I was just wondering, I mean, you're always the go-to guy. It seems that you had a lot of anecdotes of the King of Cool. Is there any anecdote that it like strikes you as your favorite anecdote that from working with Mr. McQueen?
With Mr. McQueen? Well, there's a book close of anecdotes. Read my book deals with him as one long chapter. Everything from Mexican cat houses. We investigated everything pretty much. And Eli was the only one who didn't partake of the Mexican wear.
He's lost.
He sat at the piano and enjoyed himself by himself. His wife would be happy about that.
By the way, my dad just told me that he just finished reading your book and he really enjoyed it and he sends his regards, and he obviously couldn't do it because he's down in Mexico City, but he's been a big fan of yours and he was really excited about me coming here today and meeting you in person, so it's great.
Is it true that maybe I'm digging into one here from an old interview or something, but when you were teaching a class on acting, you had Jack Nicholson as one of your students, and he had a nickname for you?
We had quite a few nicknames.
Yes. I mean, one that we can say in this room. Right? Didn't he used to call you Vaughny?
Vaughny, yes. Man, he came, in the fall of '67, he came to my dressing room, and I'd known Jack since he was before. He was in the class that I was teaching, and he was just an actor around town trying to get a job. And he came to up to the dressing room. He sat there with a brewski on the floor and said, "Vaughny, listen, Vaughny, I'm going to give myself about another, couple more years here. I owe my wife, I owe my kids, I owe everybody in town money." I said, "I've never been able to earn any money except from Roger Corman." He said, "I'm going to give this whole thing up." I said, "No, Jack, you got a lot of stuff for you. No, well, Ronnie, I'll give myself 2 more years. Exit 2 more years, enter Easy Rider, and the rest of it. I don't think I was responsible for his career anyway.
You have a connection with Roger Corman. You both in your earlier years had worked for Corman, and you had done, of course, Teenage Caveman, and Jack had done was it Little Shop of Horrors, or no, it was something else.
Yeah, he did Little Shop.
Was it Little Shop? Was that for Corman?
Right. Well, Teenage Caveman was originally called Prehistoric World, and it was a kind of a blank verse appeal for disarmament, and unfortunately it was released under that title, but I thought it was funny. I invented the bow and arrow with it.
And hey, who wouldn't like to sit for 87 minutes and watch a young Robert Vaughn run down in a loincloth?
Had kind of a twist ending thing too, if I remember correctly. Kind of a Planet of the Apes kind of ending.
Starting over again.
Yeah.
These weren't really cavemen; they were a new species of man. I guess that's what it was about. I'm not entirely sure to this day.
But it does explain why Roger Corman was the king of the quickies, though. Was shot fairly fast.
Well, Roger guaranteed me that I'd be very safe on the film. There's no problem. I was in the hospital 3 times in 10 days. A whole tree gave way on top of me at one point. A dog that was supposed to be a trained movie dog jumped at me, and I put my arm up and got a hold of my wrist. I went to the hospital for that, and that was the third one I forgot. This is Roger's guaranteed that I wouldn't be hurt. And it was all shot in that park outside of L.A. Park Alley.
Yeah.
Anybody else got something they'd like to ask? Yes, sir.
Well, my first recognition of you actually was in North by Northwest. I was 7.
That was Cary Grant. We look alike.
Well, never mind.
Your boss was in North by Northwest, Leo G. Carey.
That's true.
Yeah, when I was in the Navy, we used to rent The Man from U.N.C.L.E. film to show, And when they arrived, we were excited to find out they were 90 minutes long instead of 60 minutes.
What they did was they put 2 one-hour shows together and then cut them a little bit. And then they released them as movies all over the world. And the main difference was they had bare-breasted women in the movies. They didn't
That got a big hand of applause. You know, I think Ilya opened up a shower curtain and we were all happy. We're all sailors, you know.
Share a little quick story with Dr. Vaughn here. One of my favorite childhood memories has to do with the film Spy with My Face. I was 4 years old, and you gotta remember this was back in a time where children didn't have to be strapped into the seats in automobiles, and my older sisters and their boyfriends took me to the movie. And I was like this the whole time, just glued to the front of my seat. Napoleon Solo, you know, my hero. So on the way home, we're in the car, and I'm standing in the front seat, my mother's driving. And she looks at me and goes, "So, how was Napoleon Solo?" And I said, "He was naked." The shower scene. You know. My mom swerves the car all over the road. I'm slamming up against the windows. It was worth it, though. You totally captured my 3-year-old heart and held on to it for forever. So, anybody else have something new?
I say several times in exonerated down in the village. How'd you get involved in that part? I thought that was an interesting play.
As I recall, at my age, just as there's a thing called exonerated where various actors play a continuing role and had guest stars that come in and do it, and basically it's free against capital punishment. So that's why I'm interested in it. And I met a lot of
Because Frank Drescher was in one of the shows that I saw. I just thought that was a really interesting play, and the people who were involved, I assume you were really interested in the subject matter of the play that month.
Matter of fact, several people that were not exonerated came to see the show.
Did you ever meet the guy you were?
No, I didn't.
The guy you were portraying was from Ohio or something?
Yeah, and the guy that is understudying the U.N.C.L.E men also was doing the exonerated at Edinburgh Festival.
I was going to say, I really enjoyed all of your work, film, TV, the Young Philadelphian, all the way through the most current stuff. What's it like revisiting a role? Because you went back to play Napoleon Solo and Return of the Mad from Uncle, and you got to be with Dave McCallum again in the A-Team episode, where it's kind of an Uncle slides episode. I was just wondering what it's like to revisit the character. Right.
Oh, well, it's nothing, it's in your memory bank and you just do it. I mean, there's nothing startling about it. Hi. We're here. Somebody trying to sneak in there.
I got on the wrong train. I headed toward Queens.
Hi, Judy.
The other way.
Hi, Judy.
Okay, real quick,
Yeah, just one last question. Besides Napoleon Solo, what other movie or TV or theater role would you most likely want people to remember you by, or what's their favorite one? Besides
Washington Behind Closed Doors. Even great ultimate to Jason Lombard's things. And it was a 12.5-hour miniseries. I got the Emmy for it. And that's a very fond memory.
It's on DVD now, too, by the way.
Yeah.
It's on DVD now.
Yeah, I came across an old tape version of it.
Yeah, it came out on DVD a little while ago now. It's pretty reasonably priced, just about $20. It was pretty good for it.
Well, they had planned to do a second segment from Watergate Graveyard on. That was the intention of the producers. But this was the year of Roots. And Roots, if you didn't get a rating as good as, or nearly as good as Roots, you didn't get another crack at a long-form series. So you didn't get another crack. They had to pay Jason and myself for the second episode, which we never filmed, which was all right.
Did they ask you to be in the movie? The one that's coming out with Henry Cavill? No, the Man from U.N.C.L.E movie. from an
No,
Nobody's caught that figure.
I was right there. We were close enough physically that I could have walked over it.
Snuck you in as a cameo or something.
Well, I wanted to play the guy that pressed the pants at the beginning.
That would have been excellent.
That would have been tailor-made for you. But.
Just stand in the hallway. Well, speaking of the man from Uncle, and on behalf of the Solo-Holics website, Uncle's 50th anniversary, Dr. Robert Vaughn, with our deepest appreciation. Thank you for all the wonderful memories you've given us over the years.
Bravo!
Thank you all for all coming out on such a nice day and staying inside.
Well, the sun's shining in here. Gotta feed that ego. Gotta feed the ego. So, would you like to give a demonstration on exactly how you fire?
I know about guns as I do the moon. Probably more about the moon.
There we go.